everybody. I filmed this video at the beginning of June and it was good, like there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like I just need to talk about everything. I never thought that I'd be ready to sit down and just talk about life and what happened in May and June, but it's been weighing heavy on me for the past few days as I've been distancing myself from social media. I noticed that I have also been distancing myself from myself. While I didn't need a break from talking and from replying, I just still feel unhappy. And I think it's because I'm sad. There's so much that's been going on and I still haven't been able to process it. I've been talking to my friends. I have a wonderful support system online and offline, but I just need to talk. And so this video will be for you and for me, but mostly for me. And I will be going through sorry, I'm so tense. This video will be a main wrap up while I talk about everything that's going on in life. I have everything written down, so let's get started with books that I've read. Before I go into this, I do have to mention that I have decided to quit my Olympic Games readathon. I've been so looking forward to it. I've been all over the place. I've been reading romance books because they're so easy to get into. So I'm not gonna limit myself to read specific books. I'm just gonna pick up whatever I feel like reading because my mental health is really suffering and I just need to take a step back. I will post whenever I want to post. I will say whatever I want to say whenever it feels right. And if I stay quiet or if I don't reply, it's because I don't have the strength to handle anything. Let's get started with the first two books that I've been reading, and then I'm gonna take you through the timeline of everything that happened with me. So it's gonna be like that sort of thing. My memory is kind of messy. As a child, I did go through several traumas. I don't wanna talk about it. I think that's why I have trouble remembering things, and so I have trouble putting specific timing around the books that I've been reading, so my timing might be messy. First two books that I've read in May were Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. These two books meant the end of the Harry Potter series. My sister owned these books and I figured, while we have them, I might as well read them. Listen, the last book, in my honest opinion, was lacking. From all the theories on the internet and everything, I just expected we'd get more of an in-depth view into other characters in their life. The third book of May, which is the Indigo Spell by Rochelle Mead, which I rated 5 stars. I liked it. I don't remember much about it now because around that time was also the time where something happened. This is where my life, I think, started going downhill. Basically, my brother had a girlfriend of 8 years. I'm gonna be 22 this year, and 8 years, that's like half my life. She was like a sister to me, and I took it really hard. Everybody took it really hard. My family was really struggling. We were all so sad when they broke up, and it's like losing a family member. I even said it in one of my vlogs. I don't know if it was the Bloodlines vlog, but I said it that feels like my life is never gonna be okay again. It still feels that way sometimes. I'm really sad. And I was reading the Indigo Spell, ended in a way that it's gonna get more intense. I just wasn't in the mood to read something intense and I just needed something light to read. So yeah, I decided to stop with the Bloodline series and I didn't finish it in May. So then I moved on to the Narnia series, which I've been planning on finishing finally. I've read The Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. I gave it 4 stars. The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis, I think I also gave that one 4 stars. And The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis, which I also gave 4 stars. So Olivia from the channel Olivia's Catastrophe made some really good points about the racism in this book. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've listened to the audiobooks on 2.8 while doing chores and I just didn't pay that much attention to the books. There is an Narnia reading vlog that I did film if you want to check it out in the description. I do think that while these books are old and while they are people's favorites, I guess, that we shouldn't ignore the problematic things in the books and we should acknowledge them. I'm just really disappointed with myself for not paying more attention and not realizing what is going on, because I wish I have noticed it and said something in the vlog. So yeah, not to excuse anything, but May has been really tough on me, and I've had trouble focusing on anything, to be honest. Book 7 that I've read for one of my videos, which is reading 3 books if I feel the same way, and that book is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. The link will be down below if you want to check it out. I gave it 5 stars. I like the writing style, I like the stories that were told, I liked the chapter ending that just kind of tied everything together. One thing that I do have to say is that I hated the characters. Like, I feel no attachment to the characters. I don't like anybody. But the fact that a book can make you feel nothing for the characters but yet still make you cry for them, that is top-notch writing for me. Now, book number 8 that I've read is also a buddy read that I read with Shanice. The link will be down below. And that book that I read is My Best Friend's Brother by Alexis Winter. I gave it 3 stars. Look, it's a free book on Kindle. It was cute, you know, enjoyable. Not the best written. The characters could use some more development and all that, and it was very rushed, very insta-love. I have the link to the video where I talked about it. It was a very cute afternoon read. It's very quick and you get some smut, so I guess that's cool. And here is actually where my romance mood started, so Shanice, I blame you. Then the 9th book I read is also for the video, reading 3 books to see if I feel the same way, and that is Some Quiet Place by Kelsey Sutton. This is also a reread, just like We Were Liars. This time I rated it 3 stars. Some Quiet Place was very heavy and just not the right read for me during that time, and I just needed a break, and it was very slow paced. Overall, I liked Kelsey Sutton's writing style. That is something that I really enjoyed. And I did enjoy the overall story, I just don't think it was the right time for me to read it. Okay, so I think I skipped a book. Before finishing Some Quiet Place, I actually picked up my Kindle and I've been reading In Between by Jenny B. Jones, and that book I gave 5 stars. It was a free book. I think it's such a wholesome read. In Between is about this girl who is in the foster system, I guess. She was placed with this foster family, and the dad is a pastor and the mom kind of helps around, I guess because she's in this like foster care, she feels like she's not good enough, so she does everything she can to sabotage the relationship with her new family. She doesn't want to stay. She'd rather do something to get herself kicked out before they on their own realize she's not good enough, you know. So one day she gets introduced to the wrong crowd at school. She goes to the sleepover with them and they sneak out in the middle of the night. They go to this community theater. She doesn't know what's going on. She just looks around, walks around. Meanwhile, her friends decide to trash the place. And so the cops showed up, her friends are gone, and she is the only one arrested. And of course, she's gonna snitch on them. But to make things even worse, the theater actually belongs to her foster parents. As punishment, she gets to clean it up with the rest of the community. And there's a lot of drama within the family as well, because it has a lot of religious themes. Some people would think it does shove religion down your throat. And while that might be true for some people, for me, I think it wasn't focused more on the religion. It was focused on the sense of community and the sense of belonging and welcoming someone and forgiving them even if, you know, they messed up. I think that was mostly, yes, okay, the main character isn't religious, by the way. They just welcome her. That's what I got from this type of book. I really liked it, so I bought the second book, but I haven't read it yet. So after finishing that one and finishing Some Quiet Place, I moved on to read the final book for the video of reading 3 books to see if I feel the same. And that book is Obsidian Black by Alan Jordan, and we have some history here. Obsidian Black is one of the first books that I rated 1 star, and that's because I wasn't in the mood for it at the time. I wasn't even ready for it. Like, I think it's a very short read. It has, 190 pages, and each chapter is like 2 or 3 pages long. It's gonna take you like 2 hours. Honestly, this time around, I rated it 4 stars. I think I paid more attention to it. Getting into it was kind of hard because, again, I wasn't in the mood for science fiction, but I wanted to give it a fair shot, just like with every single book for that video. And so I gave it a fair shot. I read it and it was very fast paced, which I really enjoyed. It was a nice change from Some Quiet Place, and that's why I gave it a higher rating. Book number 12 that I read is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I gave that book 3 stars, and here are my thoughts. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes follows President Snow before he was president and is set in the Capitol. In this book, we got a preview of how things were run before the Hunger Games. And one thing that bothered me was how descriptive this book was, or how long it was. It's something that now really intrigues me, and I really like that we got so many descriptions. President Snow has kind of like an obsessive personality. He is very detail oriented. Meanwhile, Katniss is just, you know, she has her survival instinct. She doesn't care about people. She just wants to survive. And that's why the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is so thick. It is a book that I think will stick with me for a while. I don't know, I'm not the best person to analyze things. I then moved on to reading Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. Shanice has mentioned it on her channel and said that she just recently read it, and I was like, I need to pick it up. And so I did, and I planned on making that the last book that I read in May, but it wasn't. Beautiful Disaster, I gave it 4 stars. It was enjoyable. I really liked it. It was a fast read. I was into romance. Again, I blame Shanice for that. Sure, let's acknowledge that Travis, I think his name is Travis, is very problematic. Let's acknowledge that he's a stalker, that he is very possessive, that there were some problematic themes in this book. I still found myself enjoying it nonetheless. Then the next book that I read is His Best Mistake by Lucy King. This book was on my Kindle for literal years. And yet I still buy more books and get more books for free on Kindle, despite knowing that I have a large TBR. His Best Mistake is about this girl. Let me just think. My memory is a mess. I think I remember, but I need to check it out. Wait. So lately I've been all into romance books that have a pregnancy plot. And honestly, this is one of those as well. And I don't know why. I really like books with a lot of smut that have a pregnancy plot. Okay. Oh, right. So basically it's about this girl, Stella, who dated this guy. I think his name was Ben or something. And it turns out that his name wasn't Ben, and that he has been lying to her, and that he was actually engaged and she was the other woman without knowing that she was the other woman. And she thought that, you know, she was gonna have like a perfect relationship. But you know what? No, that wasn't the case. Because Ben was engaged. And so when Stella found out, she kind of escaped to, you know, the Highlands. She just needed a break from life. She needed to escape. You know, she went to the Highlands, to this cottage. And one day this guy shows up, Jack, I think his name is. And he actually blamed her for the guy cheating on his sister. He is the brother of the girl who was cheated on, you know? So yeah, the fiance. Jack comes up to the cottage one day and shows up, and like his car's having trouble, so he has to like stay the night. But basically Jack shows up and he's like, aren't you ashamed of yourself? You seduced a guy that was taken. And Stella was like, well, you're a prick for, you know, just showing up and not even listening to me, listening to what happened, and just assuming things. And so, yeah, they kind of talked. They had sex, and in the morning, Jack was gone, and yeah, a few weeks later, I don't know, Stella shows up at his workplace and tells him that she's pregnant. Things are messy. I stayed up the entire night reading it. The last book that I've read in May was Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo Lodge. This book was really informative, I guess. What I want to say is that it taught me a lot, especially about racism in the UK. Obviously, I'm in Slovenia. There is so much that I haven't really paid attention to, mainly because, you know, Slovenia is mostly white. It's not as diverse. So I was very ignorant when it comes to just racism, just in the workplace in general. People just aren't compassionate and don't feel any empathy anymore. It opened my eyes to a lot of things that I personally didn't know, because I live a very sheltered life. I'm in my bedroom, like always. I spend most of my time here. Being sheltered, I don't see a lot of the things that happen, but that doesn't mean that they aren't happening. And with the state of the world these days and everything that's been going on with Black people being murdered. I can no longer shelter myself from these things, and if I have a voice, I do feel the need and the responsibility that I should use it. I did film a video on that, and I was really passionate, I guess. It really got to me that a lot of people just don't really want to use their voice. If you pick on somebody for the color of their skin, I don't know what's going through your head. I don't know why anybody should be judged by the color of their skin. I don't understand. Like, I'm sorry. Listen, I know that I'm not the most eloquent person here, but I guess what I want to say is I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to explain my feelings, because I haven't given racism much thought, because to me, everybody is just equal. I don't understand why people would kill someone for the color of their skin. I really hope that the protests and the petitions and everything that we're doing right now, that they help, and I hope that people, our future generations, are raised better and to be more compassionate, better people, that people are hired for their talent and aren't discriminated against. Because let's be honest, there are a lot of Black people and just people of color in general who are better than white people at something, and oftentimes they don't get the job because you know why. And the fact that a lot of us, myself included, still remain ignorant to a lot of these things because we live a sheltered life. I cannot justify that anymore. Ever since Trump came to, become president, the world has been more divided. Racists have been speaking up a lot more and have been trying to silence people. Our problem is that we have let ourselves be silenced. Sometimes when my brother and I get in an argument, and this is completely unrelated, but when we get into an argument, he is loud. He is loud because he believes that he is right. And while I do believe that I'm right, I silence myself. I stay quiet because there is no real reason other than I don't want to get into an argument, because he will then shout at me and raise his voice at me. And I think that is what we also are dealing with now. We are silencing ourselves so that we don't get into conversations that we don't want to have, because a lot of us are just like, okay, let's agree to disagree. But the problem is, these people, they don't want to agree to disagree. They want everybody to know how they feel. They want everybody to hear them. They want to be the loudest. They want to be the ones that are right. And with us silencing ourselves, the world hears only them. And they represent you in general. Like, they basically speak for you because you don't speak. You don't use your voice. And that is a problem. Let's take voting, for example. They go out to vote, they use their voice, they are loud on social media. You don't go out to vote, you don't use your voice, you're not loud on social media. Or you're not loud on social media, but you use your voice and, by voting. But the fact is, if they use their social media and you don't, they will reach more people and you won't. So your vote in general in the voting thing doesn't really count, or doesn't really help, if you don't inspire others to do the same, to go out and vote, to use their voice. You know what I mean? Don't silence yourself, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help anybody. And yes, I guess that's what I wanted to say. Why I'm no longer talking to white people about race has been very eye-opening. And also the 13th, which is here on YouTube, and when I watched it, it was free. I'm not sure if it's now, but there's so many books that you can also read to educate yourself. I personally love nonfiction. I think nonfiction is great. I love expanding my mind and knowledge and constantly learning, especially about things that I don't know much about. Like, I don't know much about politics. I just want to spread love, and that has always been my intention. And the last thing I want to say about why I'm not active right now is it doesn't have anything to do with Black Lives Matter. Obviously, I have been speaking out about that as well on my Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter. I have been active, but last week my grandpa had a brain stroke, and I got a call from my grandma, and she said, "Come quick, your grandpa's ill. Something's wrong." And so I stopped everything that I was doing and I rushed to get her. And my grandpa he was conscious, but it looked like he wasn't. And I immediately noticed he was breathing. I called an ambulance. I called everybody from my home just to tell them. These calls were the hardest to make. I never felt more helpless. I remember saying to my grandpa, "Don't worry, help is coming. We're here with you." This is one of the last things I said to him. And I don't really remember what was the last thing I said to him. The ambulance came in 30 minutes and they got him, and by the time he came to the hospital, he was better. Where before he couldn't even move his left hand, when he arrived to the hospital, he was able to move his hand a little bit. And, we thought, okay, he might be okay. We did act fast enough. And then the next day, it would appear he got another stroke, and we didn't know if he was gonna make it. And you have to know that I basically grew up with my grandpa. I live with my dad and my brother and my grandpa, my grandma, and my uncle. Yeah, the thought of him not making it wrecked me. And for a few days, his condition was really bad. We thought, or actually, we kind of knew he wasn't gonna make it, but we didn't want to lose hope. Then I think yesterday or the day before, he was doing better, and it was just a little bit, but it was enough to make us think, okay, maybe this is the miracle that we've been looking for. Obviously, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be positive. I don't want to be extra hopeful. I'm just right now here just talking about it. I don't want to say if he's gonna make it or not. Obviously, I hope that he's gonna make it, but we don't know. And it's been the thought that's been keeping me up at night, and that is why I've been disappearing. I don't want to talk about it on social media because I feel like I'm gonna cry, and I feel like people are gonna think that I'm annoying or looking for attention, and that's not it at all. I just want to explain why I'm replying to people sometimes and why I'm not really that active. So yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you like this video. Thank you guys so much for your support, for your love. Gosh, this video is too long. Almost an hour long. Wow. I'm gonna take a break from YouTube, maybe. If I post, don't come at me. If I don't post, I'm just on a vacation. Thank you guys so much for watching. My social medias are down below if you want to check them out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.